Hello modding enthusiasts, and thank you for showing interest into my mod, BMAT. In this video I am going to show you how to install, configure, and run it in order to merge those BA2 archives. This is a series of videos where I will be explaining the functionality of the tool, starting from the basics which should be sufficient for the general user, with more in-depth topics to follow which will be targeted towards more advanced users and mod collection authors. If you bear with me till the end, I will show you a real-life example of using my tool to merge more than 650 BA2 files and loose folders into less than 10 BA2 files. Since you are here, I can assume that you have been adding mods to your Fallout 4 game, and modding it until it reached a point that it started crashing, and you may or may not know why. Someone may have told you that you have reached the BA2 files limit, or you may be knowledgeable enough to figure that out for yourself. I have been struggling with that myself, as I wanted to add just one more mod to my game, but I couldn't. It was frustrating trying to choose from so many great mods for Fallout 4. I tried various guides and tools from Nexus. Some were explaining how to extract the BA2 files into loose files and folders. Other tools promised to help with merging BA2 files, but they required very complex process, following confusing steps which were very much prone to error. Not to mention that it takes forever to do it once, and if you have to do it again, and you have forgot to take notes which mod files you have merged, and from where to where, you get my point, it is a difficult process, and definitely not for the general player which wants to install the game, add one or more mod collections, run a tool or two and play the game. If that is your case and want a solution that is not very complex to use, well, then you my friend are in the right place. As I can't know your level of experience, I will start from the top and work my way through. In case you want to skip a section, feel free to use the timestamps in the video description. In Fallout 4 game, all the files such as textures, meshes, sounds, scripts etc. come pre-packaged into files with BA2 extension. The mods for Fallout 4 consist of one or more plugins, and it also may or may not have one or more BA2 files or loose folders. The mods plugins can be an ESM file, an ESL file, or an ESP file where all the records about what the mod will change, add or remove reside. The BA2 files used by mods normally are either a texture BA2 file where all textures files reside, or a main BA2 files where the rest of the files like the meshes, sounds, scripts, animations etc. reside. The loose folders contain the textures and all main files in extracted version. In order for the game to load those mod files, they either need to be in a BA2 format which requires a plugin to be loaded in-game, or in a loose folder format which is loaded as is. One very important thing to note is that mod files like the textures or main files are loaded in-game based on their plugin load order, or if those files are in loose format, those are loaded after any BA2 files and are ordered based on load before and load after rules defined in your mod manager like Vortex, or in case of MO2 mod manager, that is based on the order of the mods in the list. In case of mod conflicts where two mods are trying to change, for example the same texture, the load order is what dictates which mod texture will win, and that is based on the last loaded wins. The Fallout 4 game engine has some limitations which prevents it from being able to load more than 400-ish BA2 files, which is where my mod comes into the rescue. The BA2 Merging Automation Tool, or for short, BMAT, was developed to help with maintaining the BA2 files count under control. As you probably know, Bethesda games have some limitations when it comes to files, records etc. BMAT specifically tries to help with the BA2 limit for the Fallout 4 game. With Fallout 4, when you go beyond 400 BA2 files, excluding the game core or stock BA2 files, the game would randomly crash, or it won't even start. I wanted something which involved less manual work and is made for a general Fallout 4 mods and mod collections user, and is easier to use, so I developed my own BA2 merging tool which could automate the entire process and not just parts of it. The Fallout 4 BA2 limit could be a thing of the past with BMAT, and with better control over mod files overwrites, so you can get those nice mods with many BA2 files back into your collection and have fun. The current version of BMAT was developed to work with Vortex, with MO2 support to come later. Additionally, BMAT was developed to work with community-developed mods from Nexus, as well as with Bethesda's Creation Club mods which you would have installed from within the game, and with other community-developed mods which you would have downloaded from other websites and would have imported manually in your mod manager. In essence, as long as the mod manager is managing the mod, BMAT should be able to work with it. I have been testing BMAT with more than 1,200 mods and 8 Fallout 4 mod collections running at the same time on single Vortex profile. In summary, BMAT was developed to be as close to a single-click tool as possible, which would automatically find BA2 files in your mod collection, and it will merge those BA2 files into a new mod in Vortex. This would allow the game to load all the mod BA2 files you want. Before jumping on installing BMAT, there are few prerequisites that we need to take care of first. One such prerequisite, even though obvious, you need to have your mod manager installed and configured to manage Fallout 4 mods, and you need to have some mods installed. You may even have a whole mod collection installed. Since BMAT was developed using Microsoft's PowerShell scripting language, as a second prerequisite you need to install PowerShell version 7. Even though PowerShell 5 comes with your Windows operating system, version 7 does not. You can go and download PowerShell 7 from its GitHub web page. Link to the page can be found in the video description. We will be installing PowerShell version 7.5 via an MSI package. Once downloaded, just right-click and install the package. BMAT uses and respectively depends on an application called Archive2 from Bethesda. You may have that tool from before, maybe downloaded as part of another mod or from somewhere else. Anyway, if you have been doing some manual extraction and compression of BA2 files, you would definitely have it. If you don't have Archive2, according to Bethesda, the only official way, and the only legally allowed by them way, is to get Archive2 is via Steam by installing Creation Kit for Fallout 4, which includes Archive2 in it. Creation Kit for Fallout 4 is a free tool, by the way. Let's install it now. Here is where Archive2 from Creation Kit for Fallout 4 gets installed. As long as Archive2 is located somewhere in the Fallout 4 game folder, or it was added via the Creation Kit, BMAT will try and find it on its own. And, lastly, as a prerequisite, you will need patience, as the process may be automated, but it takes time. How long, you would ask? Well, then depends on your volume of mods, their size, the BMAT configuration, and the horsepower of your rig, i.e., how fast is your PC. It could be from 20 minutes, down to 8 hours, like in my case, when I tried to merge my entire mod collection. Now, since that is out of the way, let us jump onto the main stuff. I will be bold and assume that, by now you know how to install mods in your mod manager, So just jump to the mod page and either manually download the mod from Nexus and install it into your mod manager, or directly download it from Nexus into your mod manager. Once installed, go to Dashboard. Under Tools, click on the big plus icon, and then New. Then go to where BMAT is installed, which normally is in your game folder, and under Data, then Tools, then BMAT, then click on the BAT file, then click Open. Next, put a name for the new tool. I normally choose, you guessed it, BMAT. Next, let's put a pretty icon for the tool, which you can find in the BMAT folder under Tool_Files folder. And finally click on Close Vortex option, and then Save. Job done. BMAT is installed. There are a couple of more settings that are needed, but those are set up when you run BMAT for the first time. The BMAT staging folder is the folder where BMAT will be relocating the original mods files from the Vortex staging folder before it starts working on them. The BMAT working folder is the folder where all the BA2 files will be extracted and recompressed into a new merge BA2 files. It is a temporary folder which gets clean up after every BA2 file is processed. In the generated list, you can see all the mod files and folders which were identified and marked for merge. The order of the files and folders is the order in which those will be processed, and this also shows the order in which files will be overwritten if there are mod files conflicts. If you are happy with the list, you can answer with Y for yes, so the process can continue. As you can see, as part of the merge, BMAT had created for each of the mods a separate subfolder in its staging folder, and had moved the respective BA2 or loose folder from the Vortex staging folder to the corresponding BMAT staging folder. When the merge finishes, you need to go back to Vortex and click on Deploy Mods button. Click Confirm on the notification about external changes to mods. Once the deployment is complete, you need to close Vortex and start it again, so it can recognize the new merge mod. When Vortex starts, click Apply Changes on the notification about mods changed on disk. Go to the Mods section and if not enabled, enable the new merged mod. Then enable the merged mod plugins. Then go to the Plugins section and confirm the plugins are indeed enabled. As a last step, you need to adjust your load order to make sure the new BA2 merged mod plugins are loaded in the correct order with the rest of the mod plugins. If you have skipped the explanation, I try to explain the load order and mod files conflicts and overwrites in one of the previous sections. Having said that, here is a quick example where I will try and explain how you should go about dealing with reordering the new mod plugins. In this example, if mods, mod 1 and mod 2 are merged by BMAT, then you need to make sure that BMAT's plugin for that merge is positioned in the load order before mod 3. That is it. You have successfully done your first BA2 files merge. Now you are ready to play Fallout 4 again. Cheers, and see you later. Take care.